I don't even have a roster in front of me right now, Scholes. Come on. He's still in Pebble Beach. His brain is still in Pebble Beach, I guess.
What? Oh, if you played, I was going to.
Oh, no. Oh, I don't even get a podium?
You don't need it.
Oh. Man, I just got demoted right in front of everybody. Y'all see that?
All the camera's good. Let's let them come in.
Don't you think they need to turn the heat on in here? Is it just me? Oh. Chad. I think we should bring Chad in to talk on the mic.
I don't think you do.
I think the world needs to listen to Chad. It's like church, everybody's trying to stay in the back.
Yeah.
So does Minge get the big one or the small one? That's what I want to know.
They're both for
Oh, okay.
for the All right. Camera's good. Okay. Softball team begins on Friday in Clearwater at the NSCA Leadoff Classic. 5 games over 3 days, including a game against Louisville on opening day and against number 6 Texas on Sunday afternoon. I'll turn it over to Coach Lawson, entering her 16th year, the program's all-time winningest head coach and the only coach in program history to achieve 500 wins at UK. So we'll just throw it open for her for an opening statement on the season, and then we'll go to Q&A after that. As soon as we're done in here, we'll do the players in the football media room like we've done in the past, and then we'll come back over for Coach Mangio and the baseball. So, Coach, go ahead.
Well, thanks again for being here. You know, this is always a nostalgic day for me because I get to sit and think about where the program has come since I've been here. You know, when I first got here, there was one guy, I say this every year, and this is honest truth. There was one guy there pumping me all the questions and doing it. He was paid by the athletic department, by the way. So it's, you know, it's definitely a good time in softball that we can start off. We have media and everything. So I want to thank you guys for being here because if it wasn't for you, the Big Blue Nation would not know about the softball team. I think we've built something great here. I think we have outstanding players. We have outstanding staff. You know, the fan base is awesome. We've hosted a number of regionals, and we've come out of those regionals, I think, because we have such great fan base. So I want to thank you guys all because it starts with you. As far as the upcoming season goes, I'm really excited for this year for a lot of reasons. Yes, I think the team is good. I think that we have a lot of great players coming back. I think we have a lot of young stars that you don't know yet that you will. I tell everybody there's 2 types of BBN fans. There's those who like softball and there's those who just don't know they like softball yet. And I think that you're going to be really impressed with the people we have in the program. With that said, this is a tough schedule. We're back to the scheduling that we had prior to COVID. Not that I don't like talking about that much, but there was a lot of logistics that happened. You had to stay closer to home, couldn't get to some places, and that really had an effect on the sport of softball just from the teams that you played. Now, like I said, opening day, we're starting off against Louisville. That has never happened. Usually we don't play them till April. They're a very good team. I expect they will be in the postseason this year. Texas was in the finals of the World Series last year. But like Scholes, he set, just like my team, he set us up that he didn't talk about the other schools that were there that are also very, very good. So when you have this type of schedule, what happens is we're very excited for the year. We have a lot of talent and there's a lot of energy. But the last thing you need to do is be this high and then just let the wind come out of your sails, you know, bust a big balloon and come out there and have to pick yourself after that. So it's a very exciting time, but also we got to make sure that we're playing at an elite level right away.
All right, we'll go to questions.
Rachel, how do you feel about your pitching just going into the year?
You know, that's always the big question mark. I feel a lot better right now about our pitching than I did at this point last year. Last year, I had no idea who was going to start. This year, I'm not. We have a lot of options to start, so I don't necessarily know who my opening day starter is going to be, but it's because I have good options. You know, last year, Tatum Spangler, she's graduated since then, but she had an unbelievable SEC season, and she really saved us and gave our other pitchers who have returned this year the time they needed to grow and have a great postseason. I feel great about, right now, I think the headliner is Schoonover. She's somebody that continues to get better and better. She is a winner. She can command. I've never had a player. I was thinking about her when I was driving in, and even in her freshman year, I was so honest with her. She would say, hey, can I do X? And I'd be like, I don't like that. I mean, I would just say it like that, and she would take it in stride, and she'd go work on it. And I was thinking about the growth that she's had over the last 2 years. She is exceptional. I feel great about Kennedy Sullivan. She has really improved. She was somebody that, she came in last year, and she had really high hopes, and I think just getting used to everything, it really took her a lot. Well, she's gotten it together. She's throwing harder. She's commanding her stuff. She looks great both in the box, and she looks great on the mound. So I feel, those two are doing great. Sloan Gaines, somebody who's been around for a while, that hasn't gotten as much time as I would have liked in the past, but she just looks exceptional. She's commanding stuff, changing speeds. So I think you'll see a little bit more of her early on. And then, of course, you have Lacatena, who is somebody that everybody knows because she plays on the Italian national team. She's really gotten better with a bunch of her stuff. And then we have this pitcher who's kind of an ace in the hole, that if she gets it together, which she gets better and better every day in the name of Izzy Harrison, she could be one of the best in the country. So I think it's, she's going to need some experience, and she's going to have to learn how to manage her energy. But when she does that, I think she's going to be special.
In general, do you think you have to have that Chelsea Nunley kind of ace in softball now to make a run in the World Series, or can you do it with a deeper staff?
You need an ace, no question. And it's different than when Nunley played because the postseason is different. We now have a 3-game series as opposed to double headers and stuff like that. But you need an anchor. And so I think Stephanie's our anchor. I don't think she has to be our starter, but she's somebody that you have that can come in and calm down the situation if you let things go to hand. She's very strong. She works incredibly hard. She can go over and over and over again. So I would say she is the most similar to Nunley of anybody I've had since Nunley played here. But I do think you need a deeper staff. Softball is a lot different than it was back then. The hitters are incredible. They're big, they're strong, they're fast. I mean, it is an exceptional sport when you see it live. You don't realize how big these people are. And with the game planning and the resources that are now put into the sport of softball because of how much we're on TV, it's a pretty special sport.
When you look at some of these top-level teams, you see that they do have a lot of big, strong players. Mm-hmm. How does your team kind of compare to some of the previous teams that you've had in terms of strength and size?
Well, we're not as big as I would like us to be, but we never are, so that's okay. I think we are incredibly strong. We have the best strength staff in the country. We have had it since I've been in Lexington. That's been a mainstay of us. So where we lack in size, for example, like if you look at somebody like an Erin Koffel, she's not very tall, but she's incredibly strong. If you look at Kayla Kowalik, I mean, she's not exactly a monster, but she is really strong. And like Riley Smith, who is not very tall. I mean, what are you squatting now? 345. I mean, she squats 345. So you're looking at so player for player, we are very strong. We don't look like we have the size when they're in the box, but make no bones about it, they can match up.
You mentioned Kayla. She's been around here for almost as long as you have.
Yeah, she really has.
How will you kind of leverage her experience and expertise and maybe helping lead this team?
Well, she's grown up a lot. And I say that, she has always been incredibly mature for her age. But this year, I feel like she's hit a new gear. In the past, if the pitcher wasn't doing well, she'd look at him and look at me and be like, next, get the next one in here. I mean, she'd kind of talk to him, but she's like, no, you got to live up to my standard. And I love that about her because people definitely want to play at the level that she plays at. With that said, now she has figured out how to talk to them, how to manage the staff, all that sort of stuff, just like she's like having another coach on the field. So that's been something that has been really helpful this year, and I think it's helped our staff actually grow, and I think that it'll help us on opening day.
How much did you sit back and let her make that decision on coming back? And how much did you twist her arm and
trying to get her to come back.
Well, if you know Kayla, she loves softball. And that, that's what makes people great, right? They love what they do. They have a lot of passion for it. The other thing, she's committed to the University of Kentucky. I think that the University of Kentucky has a lot of great athletes that contribute to our teams. But I think when someone is like committed at the level that she is committed, I think you have something special. And so she just came into my office and said, hey, I'm gonna go to grad school. She kind of didn't give me a choice. And I said, sure, that sounds like a plan. So, but her commitment to this school is, you're never gonna find an athlete who is more committed than Kayla is to the University of Kentucky.
You mentioned the strength. What about the speed to put the pressure on the defense in a different way?
We are very fast. We have a lot of team speed. And the nice thing about it is we're going to start with some great team speed, but also if we get in a situation where we have a lead or something like that on defense, we can throw out probably the fastest outfield in the SEC. I think we can be incredibly fast in the middle infield, and if there's a pitcher that's dominating that you can't really knock it out of the park, I think we can put the ball in play and force the defense. So I think one of the goals this year going in is that we can win in a lot of different ways, and I believe we can do that.
Rachel, you said the goal every year is Oklahoma City. What's going to happen with this team in order to make that a truly realistic goal?
Well, I think a couple of things. I mean, if you go into our clubhouse and you look, and I thought about what I wanted from this team, and I have loved every one of my teams that have been here in Lexington. The people have been exceptional. I'm also very fortunate that I have had the same staff. Coach Himes has been with me for 16 years. Molly was here a year before us, so she's been here 17. Our trainer's been here 10 years. Shoal's been here, forever. Our grounds crew. So, and I know that our staff is full of winners. That has never been a question for me. And then when I think about this team, I think that their team strength is they are winners. And when I say that, everybody's like, of course you are. No, it doesn't mean you win the game every day, but it means how they go about their business is exceptional. And I think for us, number one, we're going to have to maintain that attitude. So on our clubhouse, there's a sign that says winners only. So don't even walk into our team if you're not going to bring that attitude every single day. And I think this team has lived up to that challenge. So they're going to have to maintain that because the SEC is a long season. You're not going to win 56 games. There's going to be times where, there's a lot of ups and downs in the sport of softball, and that's what makes it great. The teams that end up on the top are the ones that can maintain their composure, that are resilient, that pick themselves up. So number one, I think we're going to have to maintain that. I think number two, our pitching staff is going to, I think they're good, but they're going to have to prove it. Anybody can be great in the bullpen. It's, can you control your energy? Can you control your mindset? And can you attack people when you go out? So I think that's an unknown. And then we're going to have to find people who protect Kayla and protect Aaron in the lineup. We did graduate some very good sticks. So I believe we have them in our lineup, but I believe that they're going to have to prove that they can protect them so people don't just pitch around them.
Just winning your first 25 games are at home, just other than
Yeah, it's awful, right?
being the what are the added benefits of being able to play in so many tournaments and facing so many different teams?
Well, the benefits for sure are, the warm weather, obviously. One of the things that happens when you play in the cold, and you never, it's been great in Lexington. We've been outside practicing. We could play a tournament right now, but you never know what's going to happen in Lexington. So the nice thing is your shot of getting the game in is a lot better. And also, knock on wood, when you're playing in the cold and stuff, a lot of weird injuries happen. So if you're playing in warmer weather, then that helps you maintain that. But also, the thing that happens when you're on the road is your team gets to know each other and they get to bond. So, you're spending a lot of time together, so you get to know the character of the team. And then it's a great time for the older players to pass down the traditions of Kentucky softball to the new people.
Coach, what's one word that you would use to describe the team from what you've seen so far?
Oof. They're pretty cool. I mean, like, I hate to say, what I like about them, it doesn't matter what I say. They have my, what they do? They have my back. So I would say loyal. I think that's the word. They are very, They have each other's back. They have their coaches' backs. They're an incredibly loyal team. They're honest with each other. But the nice thing is they know it's not personal. And I think that loyalty, I think about the 2014 team. I would have never known that team, I knew Nunley was good, but wouldn't have guessed that team would have gone to the World Series. And I remember we had a player by the name of Crystal Smith that said, we're going to go to the World Series because we love each other. And I said, oh my God. Like, I said, yeah, but you actually have to be good at softball. And the whole team was like, yeah, we got that. But we know we don't have any superstars on our team, and we're just going to play for each other. And I'm sitting here thinking, these kids think they're not any good. They're not superstars, and somehow they're going to go to the World Series. And at the time, I thought she was nuts. And then, sure enough, we go to the World Series, and I learned a lot from that team because I learned that teams that respect each other and care for each other and have each other's backs all the time, through the good and the bad, are the ones who end up being the champions. And I think that this team has that going for them.
Time for one more.
Rachel, when NIL first came out, we thought that maybe softball was right up their alley. I mean, you've got all these cool, smart, loyal athletes. Has that played out about like you thought it would?
It hasn't yet, but I think it will. I think it's unfortunate because you have great players on our team now that have big personalities that I think could cash in a little bit on the NIL, but I don't think softball's there yet. I think what you guys do is big for us. I'll be honest with you, I'm not the flashiest coach in the world, and because of that, I think, our marketing of our team could be a little bit higher, and some of that's just because my personality is very, I'm pretty even, I'm pretty that way. But I think now that our challenge is going to be how do you manage NIL and also be a great softball player. But here's the thing that is different for us than it is some of the other sports. Even though I do believe they should all be thinking about their education and their future, I think a lot of times when you have the pro thing dangling out there, I think that sometimes sidetracks a lot of different players. In the sport of softball, I mean, they still know that they have to go on and be a doctor, be a PT, be a teacher, be whatever it is that they want to be. So something like NIL could sidetrack them. So I think the challenge for me is how am I going to create a world that they're going to continue to win at softball. Our staff is going to continue to give them that safety net that they have, and they're going to go on and still be exceptional when they leave Lexington, and then they still have the time to work on their NIL deals. And I think that's coming. I think it's probably coming in like 2 years, to be honest with you, but I think it's going to take a little time.
Awesome. That concludes this portion. We'll now head across the hall and talk to the players.